Hey everyone, going to talk about cardio. I've got a lot of questions about what is better, Rob. Is it going to be steady state or is it going to be HIIT training? And I'm sure every single one of you watching this video read about HIIT training, how it's more time efficient. Yes, it's high intensity, but you get that sought after afterburn effect. You get the increase in EPOC and possibly increase in metabolic rate for hours, even days later after the session. Now, my answer is it depends. It depends who's in front of me. It depends on their hormonal profile, in particular what their cortisol levels are. So behind me, this chart is representing two types of levels of cortisol. So this would be a normal one in terms of the blue graph. And then the red one would be someone who is testing to have low cortisol levels. And so one of the arguments in terms of, for HIIT training was that HIIT training has been shown to get the EPOC effect. And the problem with steady state was that you're getting just a release of cortisol, whereas with HIIT training, at least you could possibly get the release of other hormones such as testosterone and growth hormone. And so people are saying, well, if steady state just releases cortisol, well, cortisol is bad, and so that's going to cause you to gain more fat. And yes, that's true if you have high cortisol levels to begin with. So if we go back to this chart, if someone is not normal, but they're, for example, let's say they're like this elevated, but they're constantly elevated for whatever reason, and it comes down this way, well, that's what we call hypercortisolemia. That means they have high levels of cortisol. And with cortisol levels, you don't want it too high or too low, but you want it in a sweet spot, so to speak. So if someone has hypercortisolemia, well, yes, if you just do steady state cardio and you raise your cortisol levels even more because it's low intensity, you're not really getting any release of testosterone growth hormone, then yes, in this possible state, that can make the person fatter and get more abdominal obesity. However, and this is what I see quite often with a lot of people with energy issues, fatigue, brain fog, if their cortisol levels are low, we actually want to raise the cortisol. So in this particular person's case, I wouldn't choose HIIT training, but I would choose steady state cardio. Because what I found clinically is that when you induce HIIT training, these people that have the low cortisol, those are the people that go to a HIIT class or their trainer says, you have to do HIIT training because it's more efficient, it's better, steady state's a waste of time. The problem is an hour later, they're like taking a nap and they can't function at work, or they can't pick up their kids because they're so tired, or they can pick up their kids, but they have to get a Red Bull or a Starbucks or whatever to function the rest of the day. So in this particular case with someone with low cortisol, it's better to go not HIIT because it trashes them, but go more steady state. And then they come back going, oh my God, I did 30 minutes. I just took a walk on the beach or walked the dogs, and I felt so much better and I wasn't trashed. And then once you start to get their adrenal function at a more efficient rate, then you can start to probably introduce HIIT training. So at the end of the day, it depends on what the status of your hormone levels are, in particular the adrenal function, and then you're going to have to pick and choose and say, okay, well, steady state might be better because my cortisol levels are low. Or if you don't even have a panel, but when you do HIIT training, you're just trashed the rest of the day, then that's not a good option for you. You got to listen to your body. So maybe for a period of time, you just stick with steady state, and then maybe once a week you would try some HIIT training and see how you feel. And then at that point, you can decide, okay, I can do HIIT training 2 times a week, and then maybe steady state the other 2 times a week, and that'll make up your cardio training. So at the end of the day, is it steady state HIIT training? It really depends. Till next time, eat well to feel well.